Hi, I'm Keegan Shivers,
And I'm Nick Shivers.
and this is the Shivers Report, where you get the most up-to-date real estate information.
In the world!
So we talked about this during our meeting this week about migration, specifically in the Oregon-Washington areas. It surprised you that in Oregon we had a net migration this last year of, what was it?
17,000.
17,000. So as we dove a little bit deeper into that, you brought up some interesting points about what that looks like. So diving into that, what did you find and what was really...
Yeah, that was surprising to me. Because again, when we look at our clientele, when we list properties, and we list a ton of properties, 40 to 50 properties on a monthly basis. And we were noticing majority of them, 68% were not staying in the state. So I was like, that's interesting that we had a net migration in Oregon of 17,000 people. And then we looked a little bit further. And what I found was this, and I looked at an article by a Substacker called Melody Wright, and she's a real estate podcaster. And it was the net migration was 17,000, but domestically, we lost 3,500 people. 3,500 people domestically. And what that meant was majority of those people legally were immigration, meaning coming in, tech workers in Oregon, and that is what we saw. It wasn't domestic migration. It was immigration. Legal immigration was coming in into the state of Oregon.
Yeah, and that's interesting because, I mean, I had no idea about that stat.
Yeah.
I had no idea about that stat. And when it comes to, I mean, there's a lot of different things that are coming into place. I mean, we talked about how Trump is making the visas a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
So that could have a negative impact on those people.
When it costs you $100,000 to come, even if you have a great job, you're going to think otherwise of coming into the country. So you got to look at everything. So I think what we need to talk about is for 2026, what is these immigration patterns? What is unemployment? What is GDP? How is that going to affect the real estate market? And briefly, Washington had seen a big influx of people coming into their state from Oregon. Just look at the Vancouver waterfront. Those developers hit it out of the ballpark, because in 2020, when everything in downtown Portland with all the riots were happening, they were building that. And now it is beautiful.
It is.
And they saw a massive influx of investment while the downtown Portland corridor was getting decimated in real estate investment. But there's a trend in the last year and a half in Washington. They had a net growth of 69,000. But as far as domestic migration in that King County, Seattle area, it was negative. Across the board, it was flat. So again, the same dynamics. It's not domestic migration that is improving the population. It's foreign migration.
Yeah, and I think with that, I mean, we talked about how a lot of these people coming in from other places, a lot of it's tech.
Yeah.
A lot of it is those type of jobs. And we just saw with Amazon just laid off 30,000 people.
30,000 people.
I mean, with the fast growing AI advancements, I feel like we're going to see more of that.
Yeah, because AI isn't taking away the plumber's job and an electrician's job. If you're out there and you're thinking about, if I was advising a young person what kind of trade to do, I would, if you're not a school kid, okay, don't think that by going to college, that's going to set you. I think the trades right now, because there are so many people, we don't have enough of that. So just remember to look at those trades are important, and that AI is not affecting that. So I absolutely agree with you, Keegan. I believe that AI will have an effect on those upper echelon jobs that a lot of college students were getting. And then I think one of the biggest differences in GDP and unemployment. So unemployment right now, nationwide, is running at 4.3%, which is solid. In Washington, they're ahead at 4.5%. Unemployment, and Oregon is at 5%. So we're leading the way there. And then GDP, gross domestic product, nationwide, we're at 3.8. Oregon and Washington are both trailing. And Oregon's been in the doldrums for a while, but Washington, that is a big shift. And while we're doing that, we're seeing some of the biggest proposed tax increases in both states. So before, if you had good jobs,
Yeah.
if you had good solid jobs and more job growth, people would be like, I'm not going to pack up and move. But here's the reality. Now you got all these potential new taxes
Mm-hmm.
and you're above national trends for unemployment. And remember, those are August numbers.
Yeah.
Wait till we see it September, October. I think that will go even higher. That's why there's been some instability in the mortgage market, because there's been good news in jobs and bad news. I mean, so I think that's a big deal. And in 2026, I think that will have an effect on the overall market.
Yeah. I mean, I just had a listing appointment this morning where the lady I talked to, she's owned her own practice, massage therapist for 15 years. And it's getting to the point where not only, she said it used to be a third of her business was cash, a third of her business was from insurance, and a third of her business was from third-party providers, from crashes and stuff like that. She said since COVID, there's basically no cash people coming in anymore. Like, because people are feeling that
Yeah.
in the state, especially with the job market where it's being. And also, it's not inexpensive to live here as well.
No.
So, and the reason they're moving is because, one, you don't get the best bang for your buck here as you do in other places.
Nope.
And so they need to sell now. With that being said, going into 2026, if jobs continue to soften, if migration trends don't get any better, if they get worse, where do you see that in the future for housing demand, for economic growth in specifically Oregon and Washington?
Yeah. Yeah. And one quick thing that I think it's important that we address. Okay. So I look to see where are the two fastest growing job segments in Oregon and Washington. Okay. So what would you think in Washington, Keegan? What would your guess be?
Tech.
Yep. Tech's in the top three. Government number one. Okay. And Oregon, it's health and social services.
Wow.
Health and social services. So that is, you got to look at that.
Yeah.
So how do I think it's going to affect 2026? I do believe that it will affect. That's why you're not seeing massive investment in real estate construction in the state of Oregon. It was going like gangbusters in Clark County and Washington. That has slowed down as well significantly.
Yeah.
I mean, we looked last week on pending sales are down across the board in both states. And Realtor.com came out with the recession thing that Oregon and Washington both were one of the states in a recession.
Yeah.
And the numbers don't lie. GDP below national average, unemployment above national average, some of the highest taxes in the country. That's a problem. And like you said before, people would move to Oregon. You remember, it was kind of keep it weird. You could come in here and be a barista and still live.
Yeah.
That's kind of going away.
Yeah.
That's going away.
Yeah. Do you think that areas that don't have those specific job anchors, like in the metros, will continue to struggle because they don't have that and they don't have people migrating to those places? Or do you think it could be, because of affordability, going to places like Southern Oregon, Medford area, we could see a little bit of in-state migration in that sense?
Yeah, I do believe that we are, and I think there's some political thing there too, of like conservative and liberal. I think that people are going. I don't think it's a great thing when people go into their corners.
Yeah.
But I do believe that that's happening, and it's understandable when you're looking at crime and Oregon, specifically Portland Metro, top 4 in mental illness, top 2 in petty crime. I mean, that's a big deal for families.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to the Shivers Report.
And if you have any questions about real estate in the Pacific Northwest,
We have you covered.